domain. A Nemo got you blown away. Got the waifu in the kitchen, cooking with my old flame. Hotter than a pyro, dripping like it's hydro. Icier than cryo. I'm Geo when it's time to go.
Yo, what is going on, Demon Clan? It is your boy Demon King of Tibet, and I'm here to react to Brand's online regarding the 6.0 live stream and the update as a whole, and kind of give my thoughts and opinions on what I think of this update. So if you guys like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I don't want to take too much time on this. It's already 26 minutes, and knowing me, I'm going to take forever. So without further ado, let's get into this video.
So Genshin's latest livestream really did stir up kind of a pot in the community, and it seems to have divided people a lot more than even I expected it to be honest. There was a lot of good and a few bits of bad, to be honest, in this livestream. But usually the overarching community absolutely adores these like 0.0 patches more than anything else. But I think a lot of the quality of life stuff really did turn a lot of people away. So there's a video that I want to watch today called Why Genshin's Biggest Update Ever Caused So Much Drama. I have a feeling this...
It's bad. It's bad. There's nothing of substance coming from this update, in my opinion, because I was looking forward to replayable quest. Get the resin system has. It's not that my overall. The resin system has to go. There's too many world bosses and domains to be capped at 200% resin, or however much resin you can farm. Apologies, weekly and daily, and then there's just like. There's no way you can build all your characters based off 200% resin. Let me mute this real quick. Apologies. There. Okay. So there's a lot they could have did with this update, because they were like, we're gonna make Genshin this brand new game, and it's gonna be a brand new experience for older players and newer players alike, and then they roll it out, and then there's really the only thing good in my opinion that comes from this update is the basically the artifact, you know, whatever it's going to show you what the stats or the hidden stat, the hidden force select. That's like the only good thing. But regarding the good quality of life that people were looking forward to, like, we need to be able to farm domains 24/7. Like, I've been talking to people about this for the longest time, and I'm not the only one that feels this way. There's too many characters. Like, there's like 40, 50 plus characters now, and I'm capped to a certain extent to the characters I can farm because domain restrictions. So they looked at us and said, "Hey, we've been seeing y'all complain about this issue. We're gonna give it to you in the form of only for the newer characters we push." Like, what? Like, you're effectively killing your game more than you're helping it. And I've been telling people, like, if Genshin keep treading on this path rather than try to make the game more playable, people are going to drop the game. They're just going to start. They're going to start caring, and a lot of people are. A lot of people that I personally know or who people I talk to are dropping the game.
This is just going to go over all of the details down here, the bad parts, the good parts, generosity. But let's take a look at this and watch it together. And I'll give my own thoughts as we go along, of course, as I always do. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments as well.
Every long-running live service game eventually reaches a crossroads.
Oh, I forgot to mention, it's also Genshin's biggest hater.
A point usually a few years in where it must do more than just simply add content. It has to reinvent itself to fight off stagnation and convince its oldest players that the journey is still worth taking.
True, especially with 6.0, or Luna 1 as it's actually called, right? Because a lot of players did leave, whether people like it or not, during the Natlan patches.
And look, in my opinion, the Natlan patch was pretty good. It was great story, great character development. We got substantial lore, and it's just like, it was fun. It was really, it was a fresh new experience. We got the phlogiston traveling. We got different ways to traverse the map depending on what characters you got. It was breath of fresh air. Like 5.0 to 5.3 Natland was peak. It was so peak, and I wish I still to this day had recorded it, so I could go back and rewatch it. But I have to rewatch other people. That's how good it was. And now we get here, and they're this hot trash pile of an update. Like, I don't know who they're listening to, but these quality of life that they're thinking that's going to be a good. Now I know this is phase 1, so they got till next year to correct their mistake. But if they keep, like I said, they keep treading on this path, a lot of people are going to leave. A lot of older people, like people like me, are going to leave the game. Veteran players.
A lot of people just didn't vibe with the nation for whatever reason, so this is definitely a way to bring a lot of
The reason they weren't vibing because they thought the character should be darker. That's literally it.
players back, especially tying up the loose ends with all of the different factions and bringing all these old known characters into the main storyline. Valka, Alice, even Nicole and people like that. So
Genshin Impact, that moment arrived with its 5th anniversary and the live stream for version 6.0. The presentation was arguably the most significant in the game's history. And
I think the presentation of this whole update was spectacular, honestly.
when it was over, the community was left completely and perfectly divided. On one side, you had an explosion of hype.
Oh, at least on the trailer side. That's what I meant by presentation, I guess.
Players and creators were calling it the best update ever. An unbelievable package of free rewards, game-changing.
Here's the thing as well, dude. I do actually think this is the crazy thing. This is the crazy thing. Because as bad as some of the changes are, I still think this is Genshin's biggest update ever. Like the best.
Yeah, lore wise, yeah, art, like that's literally like lore, because that's like literally new content wise. Let's just put that out there. It's not game changing. It's literally not experience shaking. It's not invigorating enough to be. I don't know why people are considering this the biggest update. They say that for everybody says that for every patch. Oh, new lore is going to drop. This is going to be the biggest thing ever that's going to come out. Like, let's be real. Like, this update is not really all that it seems to be. It's 6.0. That's literally it. We're almost to the end of the journey. The answers we're looking for, that we've been waiting for, are like right at our doorstep. This is like we're one step closer to the end. This is why it's the biggest thing. It's NOD-KRAI. It's going to be a new adventure, new lore, new foes. That's literally it. Like, let's stop the cap. Like, this update didn't really have nothing. And I'm just saying because it had nothing that I thought would be considered a new game, or because they had preceded it as it was going to be a new game. They packaged it as it was going to be a new game. What I got was far from the new game experience. It's still Genshin. It's still the same Genshin. They just reworked the artifacts, the substats. That's it. The new mini games and same thing. They could have released this for a summer patch, and then worked on something bigger for 6.0. 6.0 didn't even make trending. That's the crazy thing. It didn't even trend. That's how bad it was.
Best update ever. We've had good updates in the past, but I think with all things considered, with the UGC and the
Oh, you know what did trend? Natland did. I don't care when the people said people left the game, but when Natland came out, the war happened. It trended. So what are we talking about, bro? What are we doing?
main story and stuff. And a lot of people might say it's not exactly a high bar because of the quality of life before, and sure, it might not be. I do. I think this is probably Genshin's best update ever. It just could have been a lot better.
New features and fixes.
A lot better is an understatement. It could. They said previously that when they release patches, and I'm trying not to get too hyped. When previous patches, I think it was Natland. It was either Natland or Fontaine. They said in one of the live streams that every time they release a new region, they try to outdo their last. They took 2 steps forward with Natland, and they took 3 steps backwards with this.
fixes to problems that have existed for years. On the other though, there was a deep-seated anger, a narrative that this was the greediest, most disrespectful push for monetization the game had ever seen.
But in terms of the monetization and the greed side of it, I also agree with that. Both could be true at the same time, right? Yes, it's probably Genshin's best update ever for the majority of things, and at the same time, they hit us with some really bad stuff.
When you actually listen to their points, they're not that far off either. So now it is important to state upfront that while the criticism has been loud, it doesn't mean the entire update was a failure. The goal here
100% agree.
is to be as fair as possible, looking at both the genuinely good and deeply questionable parts of this announcement. It is rare for a reception to be this polarized. Usually there's a general consensus with some minor disagreements.
Exactly what I said earlier.
This was different. A fundamental split in how two halves of the same community saw the future of the game. So today we're going to dissect this update. We will look at the generosity, the controversial fine print, and the conflicting messages that complicated everything. We're going
the conflicting message is going to be a big part here, like the whole Hoyo doesn't want to make money section, right? I think what happened there, if I can be completely and utterly honest, is obviously there's different markets for this game. There's the CN community, the global community, the Western community, there's everything.
And that's true, but focused on, if you're gonna look at it that way, if you're gonna look at through that scope, let's like be fair, then they need to have different versions. And I've been saying this, they need to, if you're gonna market toward different communities or different for different countries, then release different patches for different, like, other people, or a select group of people, because a lot of people are going to look for different things in the game, and y'all are just focusing on one group, and it seems like they're focusing just on the CN players. So like people based in the US, like, everybody's gonna want different things, and they're gonna prioritize other people over other people. And because I guess Hoyo is a Chinese-based company, and that's kind of in the way for that. But it's just like, still though, like, they need to prioritize their other players, or kind of just give the CN players something they want in a little update, and come back and give the global players what they want in an update, and just work it out like that. Just don't have it be one-sided, because it's not going to go well for favorite. Like, it's not going to turn out well.
And I think a lot of people say, ironically, Hoyoverse doesn't want to make money because they don't do things like give a lot of skins or traveler skins, or things like that, which I think,
and that's true. And it's just, that is very true, because, like, the skins that we've all seen, the skins look amazing, or the fan-made ones, especially the Traveler. Like, my favorite fan skin or modded skin, I think it's the Fontaine Traveler skin. It's just so good, and they're missing out on so much. But when it comes to skins too, they're probably going to take the skins and just make them to entirely new characters. Some of them, but mostly, like, that's what I think they should do. It'd be pretty cool to see, because I think the skins should represent character growth, and it should reflect the character individual stories that they go through. Like Hu Tao, her new skin, and I think I said this before, that her skin should have had a new rework, because she actually went to the other side. She actually perished, but then got brought back to life. So she should have a new outlook on death as well as life. So that's what I feel like her kit should have a workaround, or if she had the new skin, with the new skin, it should have a completely, be a new character. And that's just in my opinion.
I think they might have just taken the wrong way and seen it as oh my god, this company's so generous, they clearly don't want to make money, which is not what most people, I would say, are saying that for. It's for a very different reason.
To try and understand how a single update can be seen as both a landmark achievement and a profound misstep at the same time.
By the way, I love the arcade style animation. I saw a lot of people hating on it, saying not everything needs to
No, that was really good. I appreciated that. That was really good.
be arcadified, bro. I thought it was sick, deadass.
Starting with the part everyone seemed to agree on, the calculated overture of goodwill that kicked the whole thing off. For years, the Genshin anniversary has been a running joke. Players expected disappointment, and they were rarely disappointed in that expectation. Version 6.0 was a stark, intentional break from that tradition, I feel like, because this felt less like a gift and more like a direct response to years of player feedback, even though not all of that feedback is being addressed. But you know what? A win is a win, you know what I'm saying?
It is, and I feel like we haven't gotten all of the anniversary stuff yet. Like, a lot of the things in this livestream people thought were anniversary gifts, like the constellation stuff. It wasn't. That's just the quality of life. I think the anniversary stuff was the 23 polls. Maybe that even was just 6.0. I think we're obviously going to get more anniversary stuff when this next anniversary video that they said is going to drop, which I think was towards the end of this month.
Dissecting the package they offered, each piece was clearly aimed at a very specific type of player. First, you have the universal appeal, 10 intertwined fates and 1600 primo gems.
Yes.
This is the baseline, the standard offering they have struggled to meet in the past. This time it was the appetizer, and then they targeted mid-game players with free 5-star selector from the standard banner.
Yeah, we knew that was coming because...
And it's always the standard banner. Give us a limited 5-star selector in your game, then we'll be talking something changing. Like, it's always the same characters over and over again. It's just like, once you C6 the character, like, or let's say you have the C6 standard, all C6 character standard, or all the 5-star characters C6. That's what I'm to say. Once you have all those, I mean, then this little 5-star selector, free 5-star selector, is only going to be useful for newer players or players who are still kind of new to the game, and they want to try out new characters. So that's literally it. It does nothing for people like me who are veterans and who have all the characters. And like I say, I can't build any more characters because I just don't have the means nor will to play a game that caps me off at 200 resin or however much many, and then I don't get the stuff that I needed to build my characters because of all the RNG.
Because last year they said they were always going to get that. I guess that was the anniversary award, true. Yeah, that is part of the anniversary award.
This is an incredibly smart move for the players who has been stuck for 2 years without a Mona for their Morgana team maybe, or a Jean for their Sunfire team maybe.
See, literally I just said this.
This is a game changer.
Or a dilute for the base people.
It solves a specific long-standing problem for a huge portion of the player base and generates a massive amount of goodwill in return. And I think a free 5-star is always just nice. Next, they went after the veterans, the most loyal and likely most fatigued players. They did this with a new long-term event that promises up to 4 5-star constellations per year. This is a powerful retention tool. It is a slow drip of guaranteed progression for your oldest accounts.
It is. I personally, I wish they didn't limit it to certain characters and limit it to only 1 per character when you can get 4 per year.
Giving them a concrete reason to keep logging in week after week. And finally, you can get the free 4-star. I know, this one is less a gift than a strategic necessity. You can't introduce a brand new combat system, these lunar reactions, and then ask people to...
They're making Ino a 4-star is wild to be considered. The fact she made a Nefa. And Nefa should have been a 4-star, Ino should have been a 5-star, considering Ino is the first Hydro Claymore character.
Pay to access it. Giving...
This should have been in the bad part because I'm pretty certain Ino cannot trigger those reactions since she uses a vision and not a moon wheel. I don't think this is a good part. This felt like a big miss to me personally. I felt like Ino was put in here, and if she'd have had a moon wheel, it would have made a lot more sense if she could actually trigger these lunar reactions.
The thing I know way is the cost of doing business. It's a free sample to ensure...
Yeah, but the only reason they didn't do that because they're working on the different elemental reaction for lunar base reactions. So if we just got what is it, lunar electro, I don't know why they started with electro first and not animo, considering animo was the first element we got. But I guess they want to shake it up and do differently. So like I say, these new reactions are supposed to be stronger than the current reactions. So if we were to jump straight into getting lunar hydro, I think that would have to be something to do with the primordial sea. If we're going to be totally honest, they should link lunar hydro to the primordial sea in some way, shape, or form.
Maybe I'm wrong about that, and maybe this is a good part, but so far, it doesn't look like that.
Every player gets a taste of the new meta, which, of course, is designed to make you want the 5-star characters who can use it to its full potential. And maybe you could also get the best-in-slot support. The Goodwill Tour extended beyond free items, also targeting the game's biggest friction points, the small daily annoyances that led to player burnout. These are the quality of life updates. The most significant is the change to the artifact system. You know when you can get an artifact with 3 good substats, and then you pour your resources on it, you pray the 4th hidden stat isn't some flat defense or flat attack. Now they just tell you what it is.
Yeah, overall this is just a great change, to be honest. This
is the best change that's coming from this update. This is it, and I'll stand by this.
nothing bad about this. I was greedy, admittedly, and I said, why not just give us the full substat? That would be better for the consumer, for the players. It just would be. There's no arguing that. But this is still just a net positive.
Forehand.
And then the way they could have made this better was give players the option to let them roll into what stats they want to roll for an artifact. Like they keep like with the new little item, I forgot what it was called, the little feather, that only does so much, and you can still roll bad artifacts. And players need to have more control over how they want to build their characters and how they want to play their characters. Like there shouldn't be. It's just there's a lot that they need to change.
Forehand. This is a direct attack on one of the game's most frustrating and resource-draining RNG mechanics. It is a huge relief. They also overhauled the resin system. Condensed resin will now cost 60 and yield triple rewards.
Yeah, this is a great change.
And you can
Just get rid of the resin system altogether. Resin, yeah, we get it. It implicates lore to the moons and all that, but it is a big hindrance to the game. Get rid of it. If you're not gonna get rid of it, at least increase it to like 1,000 or 2,000 max. That would be very substantial.
And you can spend 40 resin directly in a domain without crafting. It doesn't give you more energy, but it makes the daily grind significantly faster. It respects your time. I think this is great. Personally, I've been asking for this for a really long time. But the biggest promise for the game's long-term health, and perhaps the single largest driver of the hype, was the announcement of a brand new permanent game mode.
This looks absolutely incredible. I'm not kidding. I am so excited for the UGC, dude.
Milastra Wonderland. This is a full-blown user-generated content, or UGC platform. So think of it like an in-game version of Roblox, where players get a powerful creative toolset to build and share their own mini-games. The live stream showed off everything from top-down shooters to racing games and puzzle platformers
to MOBA.
For a community that has long complained about lack of repeatable endgame content, this was a massive reveal.
This is the best thing in the entire live stream, in my opinion.
It was presented as Hoyoverse's ultimate answer to the endgame problem.
This specifically just looks so cool, dude. I'm so excited for fucking Genshin MOBA. It looks insane.
A potential source of near infinite content, all driven by the community itself. Although, I would like to say, this game mode does not have to be in Genshin. It should have been a completely different, separate game, you know what I'm saying? And it would be so much more successful, in my opinion, because it's not...
I mean, probably would have been more successful, yes, but I think they're putting it in the game so it drives up Genshin's player numbers specifically. That it just makes sense.
Not only attracts Genshin players, but...
Yeah, because they're losing players. So they got to do something to bring people to play or get people to play the game. So if people play this, they'll probably be like, oh, let me try out the base game.
Also people outside of Genshin, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, that's just what I think. But with all of that on the table, a free 5-star, free constellations, fixes to the game's most deeply ingrained frustrations, and the promise of infinite content through a new UGC mode, community goodwill was at an all-time high. Content creators were calling it the best update ever. It was by all accounts a perfect presentation. And for a moment, it seemed like there was no catch. But then...
It really did, dude. It really did feel like there was no catch up until the quality of life section.
You remember that this is Hoyoverse and everything has a catch, so let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's do it. Level 100. Jesus.
They announced the level 100 character cap. On the surface, this sounds like a standard feature for a long-running RPG, a new tier of power to work towards. But the discussion got very quiet, very quickly when they explained how you actually do it. To ascend a character from 90 to 100, you need a brand new, very rare material.
Yeah, character levels should just never be locked behind, like, quote-unquote pay-to-win mechanics or even summoning mechanics, in my opinion. The character levels are ingrained into the game. It's one of the first things you get on your...
Nobody's going to do this except for whales. Like, nobody's going to do this.
Your account, it's the first, like, level of progression you actually feel. Feel like it should have been by, like, I don't know, the end of the NOD-KRAI quest. Maybe you unlock the powers of the moon, which excels all of your characters.
See, that's actually good. What Brand just suggested would actually be really, really good. It's an actual reward for completing the story. Not some pay, like...
Growth, because there's a new moon phase or something, so everybody can just level up higher.
And exactly what I was reiterating when it comes to character skins. Character skins need to represent growth and to have different skills and to get stronger. it works. They need to implement that.
Look at it behind constellations or excess constellations just doesn't really make sense.
And this is why I say if these other gacha games are gonna look at Genshin, and that's what they're doing. They're watching what Genshin's doing, and they're doing the complete opposite. It's not that hard to be like, okay, why do we keep getting this wrong, and these other games keep getting it right? Like, I'm looking at Neverness to Everness right now, and I'm gonna play that game when it drops, or when I get me a PS5. But I'm gonna probably tune into that, because if, like I said, if Genshin keeps treading on this path of wanting to give us crappy quality of life updates, then there's just no, like, the story is great. Like, I'll play for the story, but when it comes to farming or anything like that, it's gonna be a complete hassle, and it's just like, it's not worth the time nor the energy.
Sense.
Called Masterless Stella Fortuna. How do you get it? It's pretty simple. All you have to do is pull another copy of a 5-star character that you already have at Constellation 6. In case...
Brother. So, if I have a few characters that are C6, like my Noelle, my Kujo Sara, who else do I have? Is who I can name off the top. I think those are like the only two. Maybe my Amber. I think my Amber C5. I can't remember. But now you have to have insane. You have to have insane luck to even pull Amber. Now you're gonna make it to where. That is insane, brother. That is insane.
In case I wasn't saying that loud enough, let me repeat that, so we're all on the same page, you know what I'm saying? Constellation 6 is the maximum for characters' abilities, which you can get by pulling 7 total copies. To get this new material, you need to pull and
Free-to-players can get it, it's just going to take a long time and a lot of luck, or...
I recommend you not try this. Don't even go for it. Don't waste your time, your money, don't do none of that. It's just not worth it.
unluck, right? Like, or bad luck, I guess. This is definitely more catered to the spenders of the game.
Let's keep in mind, there are people out here who you could, if you have the most craziest of luck, you can pull the most insane of artifacts. You can have a level 1 character and have cracked artifacts on that character and still do probably a mil damage. Oh well, and max talents, you can probably do a mil damage. Just like the levels really don't matter. It's to pour your resources into your talents. Your artifacts and your talents is what matter. Level really doesn't matter in this game. I mean, it kind of does, but really doesn't. Let's be honest.
Or a 9th or a 10th. This is, for all intents and purposes, a C7 requirement.
Yeah, to level up a character to 100, one character, you would need to get a C10 of a character, realistically, because you C7. No, sorry. Yeah, no, you would. 7 copies to get the C6, and then it'd be 8, 9, 10, because you need 3 Masterless to level up to 100.
And that is only to level 95, by the way, because to get it to level 100, you need to pull another one. So it's a C8. As many pointed out, this makes the feature exclusive to 2 types of people: hyper whales and the exceptionally unlucky players who have lost their 50-50s.
The cat laughing, but he's right. Hyper, like I said, this is only going to be something that whales are going to do. I'm sorry, it's just it is what it is. Don't even attempt this.
The same standard banner character 7 or 8 times. This is where the conversation.
I think I am going to get like 4, probably, and I've spent a very good amount of money on this game. I think the only extra cons I've got is 1 Dilute con and 2 Chi-Chi cons, maybe 3. That's why I'm like, maybe I'll get 4. It's either 3 or 4 I'm gonna get.
And shifts, because this goes beyond a simple grind or another layer of RNG. It is a fundamental change in the game's entire philosophy of progression. I mean, think about it. Almost any role-playing game, including Genshin up to this point, reaching the maximum level is the universal goal. It might take a long time, it might be a boring grind, but it is achievable for everyone through simply playing the game. The update takes that universal goal and turns it into an exclusive status symbol. It transforms a core part of character progression into a luxury item, locking it behind a spending wall so high that for the vast majority...
I'm just gonna say it right here. I'm so excited for Sandrone. Like, I'm so excited for her. She's probably the most interesting character. Well, besides Columbina, Nicole, Varka, and Alice. Like, those are my top, and Durin. So those are my like top 6 characters that I'm looking forward to see how they play in NOD-KRAI, or in the future, for the future.
vast majority of the player base, level 100 is not a real feature. It is
It doesn't feel attainable to a lot of players. I think that's the biggest problem.
purely aspirational. It is like a car company adding a new gear to their standard.
And here's the thing, they could have given it to people for free. Grinding takes ages, or leveling characters up takes ages. They could have just been like, hey, if you have characters that are already sitting at level 90, they will be eligible to be boosted to level 100 after the 6.0 update and going forward. That would have been way better than what they're doing right now.
Standard sedan, but you can only use it if you also own a private jet. It doesn't make sense. And to
I don't know about that. I don't know about cars.
make it perfectly clear who this system was for, Hoyoverse announced that all past C6 Plus duplicates players had ever pulled would be retroactively converted into this new material and sent to their mailbox. This
If they weren't, there would have been uproar if this wasn't a retroactive change.
is the key detail. This wasn't a new long-term goal for the community. It was an immediate reward, a thank you.
And I still can't believe that we're 6 patches in and we don't have the weapon from the beginning yet. The Traveler's actual sword from the start of the game.
Gift sent directly to the mailboxes of the absolute highest spenders in the game's 5-year history. I
Yep.
wonder how many of them lost a bet to cheat on, you know what I'm saying? The
Listen, motherfucker. Good one.
introduction of this system was
Good
more
one.
of a statement than a feature, a line drawn in the sand, and it immediately forced the entire player base to ask a very simple question: who is this game actually for? As it turns out, the answer depends entirely on where you were looking. The moment the live stream ended, the community didn't just
I love Glaive, dude.
split, it fractured into completely different conversations happening in
God.
parallel.
The blood to the Chris. What the fuck, bro? What the fuck? That's actually funny. Oh shit, bro. Oh my god. Doro. And this is what I'm saying. This is I get Doro his whole career. Brian too. These people, their lives are kind of changed. If it weren't due to Genshin, they started streaming Genshin, and that's what got them taken off. So of course they're gonna glaze the game to a certain extent. But even you see them. They'll they'll call out hey, this is pretty bad, and I don't agree with this 100%, but they can only say so much because they can afford to, regardless if they don't, farm as much or whatever, they can still get the required, they can reach these new requirements. But I'm saying it shouldn't be, for me, that should not be the case. I feel like people who aren't those who are free to play but still have, they've worked so hard, they should be felt compensated equally. It's so stupid how they just did this update. But let's continue.
It became a tale of two
Duality.
internets. If your main window to the community was Twitter, the response was overwhelmingly positive. It was a sea of celebratory fan art, high-energy clips from the trailer, the screenshots of the live stream of the singer Aurora.
I don't know why everybody was excited for that. That did nothing for me. I was looking at that confused. No shade to her, but I just don't know who that is.
The new game mode and everything, they were
Yeah.
happy. The narrative was simple. This was the best update ever. And the developers were being incredibly generous. For them, at least, it was generous. The hype was the signal and everything is just noise. But if you clicked over to a platform like, I don't know, Reddit, you would have thought,
Even YouTube, dude, I don't know. I like to try and see both sides as directly as possible now, because yes, the live stream was very, very good, but it was also very, very tone deaf at the same time. Both can be true, and I like to believe that, and I like to believe that both can be called what they are without fear of backlash nowadays, which is pretty much what I'm going for here, you know?
you were watching a different live stream entirely. Because there, the conversation was immediately deep analytical and in many places deeply critical. The front-loaded hype of the free rewards was quickly brushed aside to focus on the long-term implications of the new systems. They were already debating the statistical impact of the C7 requirement, calculating the future power creep this would inevitably introduce, and
Possibly, I really do like to think they would not balance endgame content around level 100 characters. God, I hope.
picking apart the fine print of the free constellation system. They noted that
Knowing Hoyo, they will.
The pool of available characters seemed carefully curated to exclude powerful game-changing early constellations.
Yeah, even like Kazu and stuff, bro. Like even though there was characters like Baiju there, they purposely didn't put Archons and Kazu and stuff, which just felt like a big miss. That felt bad.
From characters like Kazuha, Yelan, or Raiden Shogun. Instead, the options were largely limited to units whose first or second constellations offer.
And it's crazy because if Columbina is the equivalent to NOD-KRAI's Archon, why isn't she already, like, who is this patch focused? Is this a nation focused patch? Or, like, what are we focusing on for NOD-KRAI? Are we getting I think we're getting the feel of it, and then I think probably like, when did Mavuika come? She came like 5.3, right? It was like toward the end, so I think they're probably gonna do the same thing with Columbina. And bro, imagine if they run Sandrone and Columbina on the same. I don't know if they're not gonna do it, but imagine if they do that. That would be, who would they run with Columbina too? Fucking Arlecchino, like, or like what they should do, Archon banner, Fatui banner. They would make bank. I'm telling y'all.
Offer more.
Oh, I guess the heater is. Wait, I'm confused. Wait a minute. Am I crazy, dude? Am I crazy? Yelan. Or is this? Wait, I'm very confused. Yelan is here. The heater's here. Raiden's here. Are they there?
We got Binti, Farina. Wait, Zhongli too? Wait. They have the Binti, Raiden, Nahida, Farina, and Zhongli. They have 5 Archons. For the constellations, brother, wait. Oh my gosh. I don't have Nahida, so I can cross her out because I'm going to try to get her. And her weapon. I just need her, and I'll have my full Archon AFK team that I've been waiting to get for years now. And then I'll be caught up. So the only Archon that I would really need is the Saritsa.
In the actual image?
Margins were large. Characters like Kazuha did to exclude powerful game-changing early constellations from characters like Kazuha, Yelan, or Raiden Shogun. Instead, the options were largely limited to units whose.
Hold on, I gotta check this. Okay, so that was some absolute bullshit, I guess. Oh, I didn't see, this is fucking Gacha Sentinel, dude. This is literally the most, like, misinformation account there is, but it's mostly a joke, Jesus.
Whose first or second constellations offer
I fell
more.
for
Well, there goes my dreams.
Marginal benefits, making the quote-unquote gift feel less impactful.
Glaive, Glaive should have known that.
Than it appeared on the surface. It was a conversation focused on the systems beneath the spectacle. This divide, however, went deeper than social media.
Look at my boy. Look at my boy right here. I wonder if this is, what symbol this is actually. It looks like a butterfly. I wonder if this has any references to anything. This could be like where Alice is going to be, or this might be the workshop. I don't know, but that is a very interesting detail to put there.
Media platforms.
Yeah.
There was a significant cultural rift in how the level 100 system itself was perceived. In the West, the dominant perspective among vocal players was that this was predatory, greedy move. It was seen as locking a core part of the game behind an insurmountable paywall, a fundamental disrespect to the time and money of anyone who isn't a high roller. However, reports from players observing the Chinese and Japanese.
I'm so ready for Nicole too. She's gonna have so much Crystal Fly lore. Oh my gosh! See, you got to see the little thing right here for the Crystal Fly.
These communities painted a very different picture. The sentiment
Really?
there was said to be much more positive. The system was viewed.
I don't know if Nicole is an angel. That'd be fire. If she is, I'm pulling for her.
as a win more feature, a bonus. It was seen as
Yeah, I think that's just the difference in how gacha is perceived in the West compared to other areas of the world.
a reward for people who have already spent a lot of money, and something that doesn't really affect the average free-to-play experience, since the current content isn't balanced around needing level 100 characters anyway. This is the crucial part. These two reactions aren't a contradiction.
It was the same thing with Stygian though, and now this, and then what's next, you know, like this is where a lot of people are getting rightfully kind of worried, I think.
They are the intended result of a sophisticated strategy that is basically like creating and selling different products to different groups of people, all at the same time. In this single update, Hoyoverse offered two distinct value propositions. For the 99%, the massive free-to-play and low-spending majority, they offered the anniversary gifts and the quality of life fixes, an incredible deal. For the 1%, the absolute top-tier spenders, they offered a brand new exclusive.
I still, by the way, the thing, I forgot something in my video yesterday. One of the biggest things that really does rub me the wrong way is, and I say this time and time again, and I think people are starting to understand this, whenever there is really good quality of life added, the mark is always missed, or there is always a catch for the majority of times. The no daily restrictions on domains being only for the first week of the patch, or the first week of the banners, is a prime example of that, and I feel...
Exactly. Like they obviously listen, but they choose not to fix the problems in their game.
Feel like even for the 99%, even for the low spenders and the free-to-play, that should be something that people just aren't happy with, because they've heard the feedback, they've heard what people want, and they've partially implemented it, still with guidelines that...
Now, could this change in the future patches? And they're probably testing the waters? Of course. But they should have just went ahead and kept the gate full swinging, like had it be a trial thing, like... Okay, guys, I'm gonna try and run this new feature where all the domains are gonna be available for the full week, and then if they see the player count increase, then they'll be like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be now a permanent feature. Doing it for newer characters is just absurd, and for people probably aren't gonna pull for this character. I'm pretty sure everybody's waiting for like Columbina, Nicole, Durin, Alice, Varka, like. This should have been executed way more. It could have been executed way more appropriately.
For some reason, suit them. I don't really know why they can't just do it permanently, like in most other games nowadays.
They can do it permanently. They just choose not to. They just don't want to. I don't know why. And I guess the more problems this game have, or they know newer players are going to come, and it seems like they're trying to focus toward getting new players to come, rather than focus on the players who have been here. Like, considering, like, it's just like, they are kind of starting to forget that the people who like me, who've been playing the game since, like, almost launch. I started a year after launch, like, in 2021. I think of September, or is it September or November? They're tending to forget that it was those people who kind of got the game to where it is now. It's kind of like they're shitting on, or they're not shitting on, but throwing those people to the side, right, and focusing on the new players, because it's easier to appease new people. Like, oh, this game is pretty cool. These features are pretty cool, and they won't care as much as those who have been playing this game since day one. So, and I can understand the frustration of why people do leave the game to choose for, like, you know, games like ZZZ, Honkai Star Rail, and then they got newer gachas coming out. There are so many coming out now. Like, you can see, like, we can see it with Doro and Minslip. They're, like, even them, those big people in the Genshin community, they're even starting to shift their focus toward other gacha games. And, I mean, yeah, you can say they get sponsored, but I guarantee you that, yeah, they're probably playing those games more than they are playing Genshin, because you can only do so much within Genshin because of, like I say, the limited domains. The resin system is blocking the way. The artifact RNG is in the way of farm. Like, a lot of things could be shifted in the right direction if Hoyo would just quit trying to focus on the wrong people and focus on the right people, which are those who are genuinely interested in the game as a whole.
It's just such an old mechanic that shouldn't exist at this point in the game, with so much stuff to do and so many characters to farm for.
Thank Thank you. See, he agrees. I know I'm not crazy. And that's literally what I said earlier. I have like 40 plus characters that I wish I could farm for, and I wish I could take my time out to build, had there be no restrictions on how much I could play the game. And that's why it comes from a CCP, and that's why I say it's a Chinese-based game, because over there they have strict laws on gaming. You can only game for like, I don't know how long, but you can only game for a certain amount of time before you have to get off. And they're kind of they're giving it to everybody, and that shouldn't be the case. And that's why I say every patch, or everybody should have different updates. And that's why I know they have separate servers too, because when you log in, you choose a server, and then that's how you do the co-op and everything. So every server should have its own unique update. And for those of us in the West, it should be like, they should go ahead and be like, everything is 7 days a week. You can play as much as you, because we don't have strict laws like that. We can pretty much do whatever time we want. Well, and no shade to those over there, but that's just, it is what that is. So, but they're implementing things that shouldn't be implemented on players who shouldn't be affected by what other players are experiencing, you know?
Long-term spending goal. The problem is that both products, meant for entirely different audiences, were announced in the same breath, forcing the entire community to confront the game's dual identity. This growing sense of a dual identity was made even worse by the developers' own conflicting messages. During the live stream, there was a perceived sense of humility, with comments acknowledging that the team felt they could have done better. And for a moment, it created a feeling of partnership with the community, right? Oh my god, they could have done better, how humble. But that feeling was completely shattered by other statements, most notably the phrase, Genshin Impact doesn't want to make money. Huh? What?
I spoke about this earlier, so I'm not going to drive home too deep on this, but I really do feel like this was just a terrible miscommunication, or misunderstanding of communication.
Genshin Impact does not want to make money? God damn! Genshin, you innovate in the worst way possible. You innovate in ways unimaginable. Not in the way the players want, but in the...
This, by the way, is why people think Glaive just hates Genshin Impact. He doesn't, dude. He enjoys the game. He likes the story. He wants it to be better, and I feel like I'm in the...
We all do. We all want it to be better, but like I say, better. But if they keep treading on this path of wherever it is they're trying to go, like I said, they have room for improvement. But if they keep doing the same thing over and over again, then the game is going to become stale, and it's probably not even going to have the same audience it had during launch. So
I'm in the same boat, but it's the way that he portrays his feelings about it that people just can't. They can't correlate that with actually caring. They just think it's hater mentality, which honestly, I understand it to a certain extent. There's other people even Tecton was like that, right? But at the end of the day,
no, it's just like these people, they're honest. They have no reason to lie about how they feel, or when you come off as being straightforward, blunt, and honest, of course people aren't going to accept your what you have to say about what they love. So it's just, that is what that is.
At the end of the day, people want to enjoy their favorite games, bro. If people have spent time and money on these games, they want them to improve and do better. So when things like this happen, it kind of does... I think the reason why things are portrayed in this way is because it really does feel like a kick in the teeth sometimes.
Way that makes you more money. How dare you say that? And deservedly so. This was widely ridiculed online. To make a claim like that in the same presentation where you announced the C7 gated level 100 system created a massive credibility gap. It felt less like a genuine statement and more like a blatant corporate spin. And it made players question the sincerity behind all the gifts and the quality of life updates. And this created an atmosphere of deep distrust, where even the positive features were put under a microscope. On Reddit, for example, the new NPC immersion feature was immediately met with suspicion. Players theorized it could be a subtle form of gatekeeping, a way to pressure people into falling for every new character just to experience unique dialogue. What was presented as a charming new feature was seen by a jaded community as a potential new monetization angle. This feeling was compounded by what wasn't addressed, or was only addressed with half measures. For instance, they announced that the talent domains would be open every day for characters on the event banner. Wow! But this only lasts for 1 week!
Yeah, this just frustrated me to no end. I'm not gonna cap, bro. It might be people might think it's an overreaction to it, or
no, it's because that's one of the changes that people have been waiting for a very, very, very long time, since the start of the game, since 1.0. A lot of these changes could have been fixed like post 2.5. I say that a lot of these changes could have been implemented way in the past, but for some reason they just don't want to do it.
Caring too much. I don't care. It's everything combining over the years, adding up, and then feeling heard finally, and then it's like they listen but don't hear. You know.
Existence of this feature proved that the
Hear but don't listen.
developers could have removed the frustrating daily rotation permanently for everyone, but they actively chose not to. It fostered a narrative that they were only willing to fix surface level friction with temporary solutions, while core frustrations like the complete lack of dialogue.
And for 1 week is insane, considering the betas last for what, half a month? Like, yeah, it is a temporary solution for a long-term problem. They just gave a temporary solution.
Skip function remained untouched. This created a profound.
And the way you implement a skip button, and I said this with some friends the other day, the only way you implement that is give us replayable quest and then add a skip button. Bam. So when you complete an Archon quest, you cannot skip the dialogue in that Archon quest. Or give us chapter selectors. Like, so for Archon quest, you can go like, okay, let's say Nutland. From the, like I said, say you want to just go straight to the Archon, not the Archon War, but the Abyss War. You can go to the chapter selector and select, like, the chapter would be like the Abyss War, or like the Abyssal Evasion or starts or whatever. And you can click that and then you'll jump right into the gameplay of the Abyssal Evasion. Easy. That's an easy fix. They just don't want to. They're trying to focus on pushing out the newer regions or whatever, and trying to hit deadlines. And I don't know what they're doing between going from region to region or whatever. Because I know NOD-KRAI is supposed to be like a month or last a year. The content for NOD-KRAI is supposed to be a year long. So they should like slow it down and do, okay, let's actually buckle down and fix these problems that people have been complaining about to improve our game. And I know they were trying to do work on the storytelling or whatever, but like I said, it should start small first and then go up to the bigger things. But farming needs to an overall overhaul change.
Found sense of dissonance when they also announced their goal for the game to last another 10 years and even 20 years, asking for a long-term.
Like, how? How are we going to do? I mean, unless you're going to release a sequel game, which that's the only possible way, because if they're saying that the travelers are from space, then they're obviously going to go the Star Rail route, and there's a spaceship now, then yeah, we're obviously going to be able to travel to different worlds and stuff like that. But I think they should have tried to keep the time frame of ending the Teyvat story or the traveler stories at in either Snezhnaya or Conria, and I think Conria should be the last destination for the traveler. And if you really want to go that route, as I've been saying, give us a playable option where we play as the other twin and we witness things from her or his or her, depending on which twin you chose, their perspective. And then just have it be that'd be the sequel to Genshin. Or, no, because it would be a prequel, because everything happened 500 years ago when the other twin woke up.
Term faith from the community.
And then we could see the other Archons, and then we could, the previous other 5, because Zhongli and Venti are the only 2 from the previous, so.
They were actively giving reasons to distrust them, but you know. But anyways, where does this all leave us?
Hey, I want the story to last another 20 years, bro. I want Genshin Impact 2 Electric Boogaloo, Genshin Impact 3 Arrow.
I don't need all that, because it would just become gratuitous at that point. I just want this to be a solid story with a solid conclusion, and then I forgot what I was going to say, but yeah, I just want a solid it had a solid, strong beginning. We got all this cool lore in between now, and everything just needs to come together and tie up into a neatly little bow to end the story.
I ordered the knee. I want it all.
The key to understanding version 6.0 is realizing that it isn't one thing. It is not simply good or bad. It is simultaneously the most insane best ever update Genshin Impact has ever had, and also the one that introduced its most
I'm glad he said this, dude, because it's true. It is. It is both.
exclusive and predatory monetization mechanic. It is an update that successfully addresses.
But yes, there is room for improvement, and I guess they were testing the waters with this update. I guess. I mean, if I look at it from a broader scope, they could be doing that.
Years of complaints about the daily grind and the lackluster rewards, while at the same time making a much higher wall between the game's highest spenders and everyone else. It is important to understand that this isn't a contradiction. It is a business model. Hoyoverse isn't trying to save a failing game. They are restructuring a massively successful one for a long-term viability. They are doing this by creating two distinct parallel experiences. For the vast majority of the player base, the game is becoming a more...
See, and I would love to build a Yaimiko, but I can't.
more rewarding and accessible journey for that.
And it's like, just because the actual gameplay isn't going to change that much with level 100, right? The actual account, again, I think it's more about the precedent it sets and the way that players feel appreciated. And albeit there's a few free-to-play players that are like, yeah, sure, let the whales have this. It's not the grand consensus. It is creating a divide between free-to-play and whales that didn't... I mean, listen, the divide has always existed, right? There was always free-to-play supremacy, and I feel like now there's going to be freaking whale supremacy. There's always going to be a divide there, but this is just exasperating that divide even more than necessary.
Top percentile of players, it is becoming a new, nearly limitless spending path with an exclusive prize at the end. This update absolutely lays the groundwork for the next several years of content. The soft reboot of exploration and NOD-KRAI, the potential of the user-generated content mode, these are huge foundational changes that will keep the game relevant. However, the central conflict, the one between its welcoming free-to-play friendly gestures and its incredibly exclusive whale-focused systems, is now a permanent baked-in feature of the game's identity. But I am curious to hear where you land on this. Let me know your thoughts below. Thanks for watching.
Alright, well, that was my reaction to Brand Online, and that was basically all of my points that I wanted to make in this video. So if you guys like this video, please consider liking and subscribing to join the Demon Clan. You guys go give Brand a shout out, or give him a follow, subscribe, and as well as the biggest Genshin hater, go subscribe to this guy's channel as well. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Deuces.